Kpebu, so the outcome of this case, and especially taking into consideration the path that this case has traveled, justice said?
Obviously not 100% because we are human beings. You can't get it 100%. A lot of the time, there is the matter of practical constraints because I follow social media and other things, and people have been wondering what happened to Reverend Mensah Otabil, how he was board chair and somehow he didn't get roped into the prosecution and that, and people are baying for his blood. So easy, I mean, you would never be able to please the whole nation. And so, yeah, people keep sending things that he said at the time. It is cheap to be board chairman. You just add and you subtract and you there's a divide. That's it. That's it. You don't need degrees. You know, he was making fun of people's long degrees in finance and the rest. He said, well, he doesn't understand maths, but he can be a good board chair. And so sometimes the degrees people are piling are useless and all that. It's like, wow, you say it. So, look, let me tell you, one thing is very clear. We didn't do enough forensic investigations of this case because for such monies to be given to the bank, and yet some didn't end up with the bank, the board chair has questions to answer. In any serious criminal justice system, the board chair will have serious
but
questions.
Investigations were done, and it was also clear.
But it's not every investigation that's an investigation. Don't forget, we are coming to the current one that the Attorney General did on the from Pomboatin report. You see how the investigations are so incomplete. So incomplete. So, but our fortune is that one, the report was brought out, and so we can see the loopholes. But the Atuasian case, Capital Bank matter, I'm not sure they brought out the AG's opinion. We didn't get to follow. You know, those days, things that was the elephant in the room. It looks like, look, let's speak plainly. In a democracy, if we are scared and don't want to hold the bull by the horn, we will not make progress. You see, the elephant in the room, I remember those days, I was on news at that time. Everybody was calling for Reverend Otabil to answer questions. But the investigator, you know, he's such a powerful man, so somehow,
but what did the Attorney General say in answering this question? That's why I keep going back to what the AG's position was. Because I'm sure, based on all the documents made available to the Attorney General, if he really had to answer questions, he would have. And so why did the Attorney General fail to do so? Maybe there's something that we do not know. So
once again, look, very clearly, it's incomplete investigations. Because listen, this is what I'm saying. Listen, is very clear. Board chair, 620 million given for a company, right? Then somehow 250 ends up with a twist here. And you say the board chair doesn't understand. So when the matter came out, there were parts of it that went to Otabil and Associates. Do you have that side of it? I was trying to, do you have that document? The part that shows what went to Otabil and Associates and the rest. I don't know how this country, you see, the truth of the matter is that he's a very powerful person. So because of that, somehow, you know, there are biases and the rest. But listen, one thing we can't dodge is that this money is too colossal, okay, for us to say that the board chair would not have any questions to answer. So one thing we should be very clear is that, you see, as a society, it looks like we are not reading enough. We have a big deficit when it comes to these public matters. We think anything a politician comes to say is true. Listen, you read Plato's Republic, and it tells you that there's no honest politician. These are some of the basics. Maybe every day we come here, we should repeat. A politician comes to tell you something, you think that's the truth. No. And Plato's Republic is what? 360 BC. It's rubbing shoulders with the Old Testament. 360 years before Christ was born. Socrates tells you, you know, that's where democracy started. He observed and he tells you that there is no honest politician. So it's not everything government officials or politicians come to tell us that we should believe. We must always fact check everything. You see, like I just told, the current one, this from Pomboatin, the AG's opinion. You read it and you're like, really? You see it, and I'm sure there are things in the past that we've seen that no, government hasn't done it well. So we need to constantly remind ourselves that, look, our politicians, they are human. They won't get it all right. Okay, sometimes it's not intentional. other times we know it's due to corruption. It's very intentional and all those things, right? Yes, so the thing is that, look, our populists are saying that they are not happy that Reverend Otabil has not had to answer for his role. And so, look, the AG, I beg him, he shouldn't just say, Deputy Mr. Kpebu, very nice man, you know, very nice. So for him, I like the way he's very open. That's how lawyers we are trained to be. So he accepts that.
But it's not always the case, is it not?
That
You are very open. No, I mean, he has, maybe he's taking a different path. But the openness that you talk about, there's a lot of opaque.
No, I mean, in his public statements, what
Okay.
I like about it is that when he comes on the shows and you push him on a direction that they haven't looked at, I say, look, okay, often you hear him say, if the people, our collective wisdom is that this is the way we should go. Why not? You remember on Wednesday, we did the asset declaration, this and dialogue, how to improve the asset declaration law. You can say that, look, if citizens are asking for publication of all the assets that have been declared, like we used to do under PNDC law 280, and also in 1979 when under SMCD 216, a lot of people had to appear before a committee to justify their assets and they were disqualified, notable among them J.H. Mensah, Jantua, Lindsay, Igala, etc. What did he say? He said, well, if the citizens want publication, why not? Citizens push for it. It will go into parliament and so be it. That is far better than the ones who come and they are so defensive and say, no, 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 they know all of it. But once again, if you read Plato's Republic, Socrates will tell you that a man's wisdom is in knowing the boundaries of his knowledge. Your wisdom is in knowing the boundaries of your knowledge. That is to say, you don't know it all. So when somebody brings a different perspective that you haven't considered, it's better you just accept that, look, okay, I may go back and look at it. But don't just say, look, what I've brought is final, and what I've given, that is it. Nobody can make an input. No. So back to it, no, citizens, if you are saying that Reverend Otabil is part of the equation, he should also answer. So what are we saying? Let's gather together the evidence. Maybe we should go back and dig how the investigation started and how somehow he never got to answer.
What about the regulator as well? That's the question that I was asking of the Auditor General. I mean, the Attorney
Bank
General,
of Ghana.
The Bank of Ghana.
Yeah, Bank of Ghana. Maybe we should check. I'm not sure if it relates to this, but I thought that Raymond Amanfo and Co. There's a certain case relating to the UT Bank. Yes, there are some officials of the Bank of Ghana before the court. I think it has to do with the UT side. I don't know about this one. That's how come. Maybe we should dig back the files. But Mr. Kpebu, so what citizens are saying, I'll convey from social media, is that they don't understand that our own good friend, very good, powerful preacher, Mensa Otabil, is not been asked to answer questions on this matter. When I say answer questions, meaning that you've not hauled him before a court of law for his role. So it means that you have to do another investigation. Maybe you see the ages, then perhaps they should farm it out like the way they would do. You know, the Attorney General has all the powers to this prosecution, etc. Like the way they've given special prosecutors some of the powers. Maybe it's about time they would give maybe special counsel, like the US they do. You see the Donald Trump matter, James Comey was appointed special counsel. You remember Bill Clinton's time, Ken Starr, right? Yes, Starr and all those things. Maybe so that an individual beyond OSP, because it's not every matter that can go to OSP. OSP so is corruption and corruption related, right? So beyond OSP, AG can still delegate the power, maybe a private lawyer, then he can go into it so that independent, because let's begin to build the institutions. Once we accept that the Attorney General can delegate the power, and the Attorney General has done it for several institutions. You see SNIT, you see Forestry Commission, you see, what do you call it? Yeah, a number of other SEPs. Yeah, a number of other institutions and OSP where they prosecute their own, and even I think EPA, where they prosecute their own cases. So beyond that, we should look at giving it to private lawyers. Then they can, so that you give it to a private lawyer who is independent, of course, not affiliated to the government. Then we can do further investigations. Because you see, just know that the voice of the people is the voice of God. Yeah. The voice of the people
You
is the voice
cannot also discount the element of the politics in this whole process of the closure of these institutions over the period, in taking into consideration how things played out as well, is it not?
Yeah. Yes, especially I know the closure of the institutions is one matter that has caused us extreme pain and anguish. I mean, and this retarded our economy in certain respects because, you know, by some accounts, by closing down all these banks, etc., they say about 50,000 people lost their jobs. And you know, for me, every day I come here, if I don't talk about the poor and vulnerable, there's no way the show will be complete. Indeed. Because we have to make it relevant to the ordinary man, the man who needs to put 3 square meals on his table.
That's or the social needs to cost get, of this.
That is it. And so something that we've seen that we shouldn't have gone for the nuclear option like this Honorable Kujeto referred to it. The nuclear option is the closure of the banks. We could have done what? Giving them opportunity to restructure, etc. Like the Dufours. You see Unibank, Dufour was willing to do that. They refused. All because they wanted to cut what? Oxygen from their political opponents because Dufour is NDC. You see, but you see how God works. Several years down the line, you see Data Bank did worse. And yet, Obama Tete is not revoking the license of Data Bank. You see, so that it means that some people are more equal than others. A typical case animal farm. Yes. Obama Tete is sitting there, he was an Oforiata employee. So he's not interested. Data Bank said after some time they had to close this in their offices because there was a run on them, right? They couldn't pay. And then since then, you know, it's been one story after the other, and the Securities and Exchange Commission run by Obama Tete is quiet on it. Meanwhile, people who had the licenses revoked, Capital Bank, Sovereign Bank, UT, look at Moabing, our foremost Ghanaian businessman in terms of banking. Couldn't we have saved him? Couldn't he have saved? Yes, people do. You know, you go back to the US, they'll tell you too big to fail. Too big to fail. It's something they don't joke with. You look at this man, you see that no. Look, he's employing several thousands. As for money and what do you call it, crime, they go together. Any place you see a lot of money, definitely there is crime. Otherwise, we'll all be very rich. Otherwise, everybody will be rich. But you look at yourself and you see that you don't want to do certain unethical things. Oh, money, a lot of money goes with crime. That's it, true. Everybody said that most rich men, the first $1 million minimum is related to crime, even if subsequently the person is steering off crime. But a lot of money goes with crime. It's simple. There is no way you can say that, look, you see a lot of wealth and it's all clean. No. You'll be kidding yourself. So we have to get used to some of this. And so you look at America, what happened? The companies, they're too big to fail. They passed laws.
Wall Street.
Yes, Wall Street companies, Merrill Lynch, Bears and Stern, all the investment companies, Goldman Sachs and the rest. Yes, when they catch them doing anything wrong, yes, they'll find them, but they don't revoke the license.
You give them a bailout.
Exactly, and then also, yes, so they gave them the bailout, and then people were even calling it, you socialize the cost by you privatize the profits. Yes, the Americans are not happy, but that is how it's done there. But we just revoke the licenses of opponents, and when it's our turn, we don't revoke our own licenses. So we need to learn. This country is changing, and we are reading, but those who read should be willing to step up and talk, because people rather prefer to send you messages. One person can't talk. One person can't do all the talking. So especially the middle class, the professionals who are so scared, you don't want to lose anything. And they will tag me NDC, MPP, so I'd rather not speak. If you don't, well, they say wise people who refuse to participate in governance. Why? Right. Are ruled by fools. Wise people who refuse to participate in governance are ruled by fools. It's also by what? Plato. So today, it's all Plato.
There's a lot of the Plato quotations from you. Martin, thank you.